So good morning, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Shangal. We are going to start the session. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Good morning.
Okay. This morning, the aim of our session on the LNG perspective, LNG developments in Japan, and today with us in the panel also of the network of small scale in Italy. And so we have the opportunity to share with the developments that are happening in countries. So now I would like to start with thank you for staying with us this morning, and so please, if you want to share the screen, you can present your slides.
Did you say I am the one to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you able to share your screen?
I am trying. I was able to do it before, but not now. Maybe I should.
Okay, we have your slide on the screen.
Okay. I just don't want to start it from here, so. I don't know. Somehow it doesn't work.
Oh, if you prefer, we can share your.
Yeah, please. It doesn't seem to be working for me. So.
We verify. In the meantime, I will ask to Mr. Shingal to present the perspective from India, while we organize with our staff the possibility to share the presentation from Japan. So please, Mr. Shingal.
Thank you very much. Am I audible? And are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would like to thank the WEC team and the Italian counterparts to invite me and give this opportunity to talk to the whole audience here. So as the subject given to be is the development of infrastructure for LNG in road transportation in India. So before coming to this particular subject, I would like to give a brief of, okay, it's not moving. I'm trying to, okay, yeah, it's now fine. So the presentation primarily covers the India's consumption and role of LNG and India's LNG energy landscape. What is the infrastructure we are having and what are the expansion plan in the coming few years? And coming to the focus area of LNG retail outlets and the plant vehicles and LNG small scale LNG builders. So I will be covering these aspects in my presentation, and a small presentation is there. So once we see that how India is performing and how it compares with the global and the China and US, we find that we are in India primarily it's a coal-based economy. Almost 50% is coal and 28% is oil and 7% is gas. But the focus from the government is very clear that we want to move from 7% of gas in the primary energy to close to 15%. You know, it's much low as compared to the global average of 25%. but the right efforts are on, and we expect that it will grow. In maybe 5-6 years or 7-8 years, we will be close to 15% of the primary energy. One unique feature of India is that the energy demand is growing very constantly over the last few years, and it will continue to grow for some more years. And one advantage we have is we can create an infrastructure which is less carbon intensive, and LNG or the gas can play a major role towards that direction. If you talk about how we have fared in the gas sector, the primary energy, in the gas sector, the gas contribution from LNG is increasing over the last few years. In the last 5 years, we have seen that there's more than doubled, almost doubled. And the domestic gas production has remained more or less constant. So going forward, if we have to go from 5%, 7% to 15%, in absolute numbers, the gas will be consumed much more. And going by the trend of how LNG is being performing over the last 7-8 years, we expect that LNG imports will keep on increasing in coming few years. To give you a perspective of how India's energy landscape is, we are third largest primary energy consumer in the world and fourth largest LNG importer, and almost 14th largest gas consumer across the globe. Our energy basket is dominated by coal and oil, which I just mentioned something back. We are trying to target to go to 15%, which amounts to close to 500 million standard cubic meter per day. That is around 170 BCM from the current level of 160 MMSCMD. That is around 30-40 BCM to 170 BCM is the target. The energy demand is going to go up, and that can be ensured by creating an infrastructure which is ready to go to that energy transition. From the national gas grid, which is going across the country, we are currently close to 19,000 kilometers of pipeline and expect to reach to 35,000 kilometer pipeline in another 4-5 years. We have around 6 LNG terminals, regasification terminals in the country, and another 4 are under construction. So with that, close to 77 million tons per annum of import facilities will be in place. Just a quick outlook on how the gas infrastructure is going to go up in a few years. So as I mentioned, another 15,000 kilometer pipelines are under construction, and another 22 million tons of per annum capacity is going to be added in the regas terminal. Now coming to the topic which was given, that how we are going to move ahead with the LNG. So many steps are being taken. So we call it Golden Quadrilateral, which is a sort of a quadrilateral connecting the 4 major metro cities of the country from Delhi to Kolkata to Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai and Delhi. So it's a closed loop which is having the maximum traffic in terms of heavy vehicles or the commercial vehicles or private vehicles. And these 4 roads are being targeted to start with. And we plan to put up 1,000 LNG dispensing units on these 4 major roads, which will be the major industrial hubs. Besides that, we are planning to connect to LNG vehicles in the mining area, which are working on a closed loop in small sectors. So with this, we expect that around 20-25 MMSCMD of gas will be consumed in this heavy transport sector on LNG, which will be a major step, I would say, in moving towards the target of 15% gas in the primary energy basket. Several companies in India are working on this, like GAIL, the company from which I am working, which is the gas major company in India, a public sector undertaking, a government sort of a company. Then IOCL is there, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, then Bharat Petroleum, HPCL and Petronet and Gujarat Gas. So several players are there who are working as a directly or through their joint venture companies to put up these facilities. And some of the things which these companies are doing is that GAIL has a terminal in Dabhol, which will be supplying the LNG in a bulk, and further distribution will be done through the road. Similarly, Dahej, Ennore, Hazira, Kochi and Mundra. These are the terminals on the coast, both on the west coast of India and the east coast of India, where these LNG import will be happening, and from those LNG terminals, LNG can be distributed to various corners of the country. We are talking about LNG mobile refilling units also. So various different models are being considered, including models to work with the dumpers or the coal-based trucks, which will be opening or operating in a closed loop. So this is what some of the snapshots of existing facilities and some other plant facilities in India. So thank you very much. I think the time is limited, so I will like to close here, and we'll be very happy to take any clarifications or questions from the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you, Mr. Shingal. I saw that India is pushing on the diversification of energy mix with natural gas that is becoming more and more important. I saw also that if I read well in your slides, that you aim to reach a quarter more or less of natural gas in the energy mix with also the development of LNG, small scale LNG for transport. Is it right?
Yeah, we are going to reach 25 MMSCMD in LNG transportation, and total primary energy basket 15% from current 7%.
15%, okay. And so I also saw that you have an objective or a goal to install each 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers LNG stations along the triangle that you showed us in your slides.
Yes.
So just to share with you that, for example, in Italy and in Europe, our target was in the last year 100, 200 kilometers along the main roads. So you are aiming at installing stations on a longer range on your highways. I think is it right, on the main highways or also for internal uses?
No, you are right. We are setting up 1,000 terminals for the dispensing units. So it will be close to 200 kilometers, 150 to 200 kilometers. Every 150, 200 kilometers, we should have LNG dispensing unit.
Okay. Are you experiencing also in India the surge in prices? What is the situation about the supply of also of LNG in your country?
See, the long-term LNG contracts are fine, but the spot market has become so unpredictable that it is really hurting some of the industries. So it is a good in a manner that people are now thinking about long-term contracts. But as of now, it is very bad. We have crossed more than $50 per MMBTU a few days back. Currently, it is close to $35 per MMBTU in India. So those prices have never been seen. Even if it was seen earlier, those were only very small hikes and came down back to the normalcy of $5, $7, or $10 per MMBTU. But this time it has become, it has been there more plus $30 MMBTU in last few weeks. So which is very not a good sign for the industry, that such uncertainty and unpredictability in the prices, which pushes the customers back and they go for alternate fuels wherever they can.
Okay, thank you very much. We will also have a video that will be showcased after the presentation from Japan, from the chairman of NGView Italy, Maria Rosa Baroni, that collaborated with us to organize this panel. So you will have also the chance to listen to the messages from Maria Rosa Baroni. Now I would ask to Mr. Hashimoto, if you can stop the share of the screen, okay? If you can exit, I would like to ask to Mr. Hashimoto to start with the presentation. We will share the presentation from here.
Okay.
And you have only to say as next slide, please, and we will go on with the presentation, okay?
Okay.
One moment. Can we share the presentation? Okay. Okay, we are at. Can you see on your screen the slide?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Hiro Hashimoto, and representing NGV Japan. And we have been working very closely with Ms. Maria Rosa Baroni of NGV Italy. And today I would like to explain where we are in the usage of LNG, especially small-scale LNG in Japan. Next slide, please. Because there are lots of stakeholders, unfortunately, the discussion of energy is mixed and confused sometimes in Japan. It was simpler before with fossil energy. However, when it comes to the secondary energy like hydrogen or electricity, the discussion is started to be complicated. And it is extremely complicated when they introduced about battery electrical vehicle, hybrid vehicles, and FCBs, because they need to talk about what energy source to be used and as a fuel and how they are produced. Next slide, please. And as you may know, Japan is the island with very small energy supply of its own. That's why we needed to import energies. And it has been true for coal, oil, and natural gas. And today our focus is natural gas. So next best to the pipeline was to transport natural gas in the compressed form. Hence, large-scale LNG is deployed in Japan. And it was started mainly by company called Tokyo Gas, Tokyo Electric Power Company, and Ministry of Economy of Japan in 1969. And Japan has been the #1 in the import of LNG until 2020. Next slide, please. And with this slide, I just want to show how successfully the large-scale LNG is deployed in Japan. The map shows the big LNG accepting terminals, and there are 39 direct LNG terminals along the shore of Japan, and 8 secondary terminals to accept from this direct accepting terminals. And the main purpose of importing gas is the fuel for the electric power generation in Japan. And the second is a household kind of domestic energy as city gas and industrial usage. And I would say for the fossil nature of natural gas, the production, transportation, storage, and application is very well established in Japan. And I think that's why we have been the #1 importer of LNG in the world. Next slide, please. And then how about the other application or usage of the natural gas? And today we have to talk about LNG, but I want to start with CNG. And this one is land transportation. The NGV with CNG is started in Japan in 1997. And once we had days of 500 CNG filling stations all over Japan. However, the number of filling stations are decreasing, and it is 270 now. And as for LNG, Isuzu and Shell created the first LNG filling station, one in Osaka and one in Tokyo, for the trucks, LNG trucks, in 2018 with a subsidy from the Ministry of Environment. So CNG station 270, LNG station only 2. And then how about the vehicles? CNG vehicles, the number of the driving CNG vehicles right now is about 49,000 cars. And for LNG trucks, we have only 2 Isuzu prototype and 2 Iveco Stralis in Japan. So about all the passenger vehicles we have in Japan is 62 million, and we have about 3.2 million trucks. So 49,000 is kind of peanuts in Japan. So that's why they think NGV is a kind of failure in Japan. And the biggest problem of NGV is because it is led only by the gas companies. In Japan, there's no energy companies. We have gas companies, electric power companies, and other companies. So this CNG project is led only by the gas companies, and they set the specifications for the dispensers, pipe sizes, compressors. So that discourages outsiders to step in. And there's no OEM vehicle in Japan either. So that's why it is considered to be the failure. And the biggest point is it affects the policy making of the Japanese government. Okay, next slide, please. And land transportation is it only consults with domestic interest, but for sea transportation, it is international. And that's why we have a LNG bunkering project in several ports. And for LNG ships, Nihon Yusen and Kawasaki Kisen, they declared that they ordered LNG ships to carry the passenger vehicles like Toyota Nissan to export. So since this is international, it works a little bit faster. Okay, next slide, please. So most of the scale is large scale in Japan. So when it comes to small scale, the only possibility for Japan is biomass. And also we don't produce lots of natural gas in Japan. So for biomass, most of them are used for electric power generation right now. The one exception is Kobe city. And it has a biomass. And in total, they have about 500,000 cubic meters of storage per day. And most of them are used for electric power generation, but they have a small part for the city gas and also for the CNG filling station. And for the biomass, there is a company called Airwater. They plan to make liquid biomethane from livestock excreta in Hokkaido. And they received the ministry subsidy from the Ministry of Environment. And they plan to produce 330 tons of LBM per year right now. And they're going to use liquid nitrogen for liquefaction. And this one is not liquid, but Maniwa City plans to make biomethane also. This is wrong. This is not liquid, but biomethane. And they are going to fill the garbage collection vehicles with as a CNG. Okay, next slide, please. Yes. So that's why we have a lot of movement right now. And as NGV Japan, we are talking constantly with Japan Truck Association. And they are the ones suffering from the huge pressure to reduce CO2s right now. And Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry mainly talks about passenger vehicle. That's why most of the topic in Japan is battery electric vehicle, hybrids, and fuel cells. But nobody really discusses about the heavy-duty trucks. And the life cycle of heavy-duty trucks are about 10 to 12 years in Japan. So if Japanese government needs to do something for heavy-duty by 2030, they need to start now. And that's why Ministry Land Infrastructure and Transport asked Japan Truck Association to prepare a proposal how to deal with heavy-duty trucks to decarbonize in Japan by 2050. And since we are talking with Japan Truck Association constantly, they will come up with a proposal to propose LNG trucks to be a bridge to the hydrogen fuel vehicles in the future. And also there's a big trading company called Mitsubishi Corporation, and they are receiving subsidy from Ministry of Environment, and they're building 2 LNG filling stations, and they are asking Isuzu to build 14 LNG trucks to do a kind of test, practical test in Hokkaido. And the Ministry of Environment told Mitsubishi to use the liquid biomethane produced by air water. And then you discussed about the surge of the price of the LNG, but in Japan, we have a long-term contract, especially for the electrical power company. So the price is relatively stable. But the problem is, if the demand is decreasing by a solar panel or wind, then they have a surplus of LNG. So electrical power companies are suffering right now with that. So they are very much interested in using LNG while it is fresh for land and sea transport. And that's why, and also in order not to use a fossil fuel, they are interested in using biomass or liquid biomethane. Next slide, please. And that's why we are becoming kind of bridge to promote NGV in Japan. And we would like contact anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hashimoto, for your presentation. We see that in Japan there is an opposite development in comparison to Italy, because in Italy we had a very strong development in road transport for LNG. I saw that in Japan the focus is more on land, not land, but maritime transport. There is a big interest for complying with international trade, and correct. So I also saw in your presentation that there is an opportunity for gas companies in your country, electric power company and also gas companies, to give stable supply with the stable prices to also transportation, while the renewables are increasing in your country. So there are space and there is room for opportunities for LNG, small scale LNG in your country, for sure. We have also a question from our participant.
Yep.
We have a question from the public, from Evangelisti. Please.
Good morning. My name is Evangelisti. I'm CEO of an Italian company that is involved in design, manufacturing, and construction of LNG infrastructure. We have been originator of the first small-scale LNG in Italy, in Sardinia, that is the largest island in the Mediterranean area without any methane. We have built a terminal of 9,000 cubic meter capacity, and we have followed all the, I would say, the logistic chain, the supply chain of LNG. I heard with a very big interest your speeches, because I found some difficulties that we have found in Italy in order to establish the first terminal, that are coming from the necessity to have the entire supply chain of LNG for having the possibility to let LNG small scale be sustainable. We have difficulties, even if in Sardinia there is a special history, because there are some grids capable to spread the LNG, or better, the methane in the island, for a lot of reasons. But anyway, the necessity of starting as a pioneer with a vessel, a bunker vessel, capable to fill so small capacity and the possibility to have a sustainable business is a real problem. I would like to ask to you if starting with small scale LNG in Japan, you are facing the same kind of problems. I mean, there are difficulties at the first stage in order that you have found in order to develop and to deploy it in a, I would say, correct way, all the investment, and you can do it without a support from your government. I mean, from, for example, with subsidies or public help in order to let the investment sustainable from the private company.
I think it's very difficult right now to do with without subsidy. And Japan is specialized for large-scale LNG so far. And in order to make profit with a small scale, the equipment for the liquefaction has to be very, inexpensive. And also all the system related to the biomass, they need to be, inexpensive. And also the cost to get the storage or, animal excreta is cheap. But how to bring them to the factory is very expensive. Yeah. So all in all, we have to establish some kind of system. And that's what we are struggling right now.
And what's about, I would say, authorization process? How the authorization process for building a plant like this, something that has a special track, I mean, for being authorized, or I'm experiencing in Italy not a very easy, I would say, experience in order to get the right authorization to start building a plant like this. It is the same in Japan or is different?
Right now it is easier because Japanese government is pushing to use biomethane in a big way. So you need to have a lot of paperwork, but it's not that difficult.
Thank you, Mr. Hashimoto. Please stay with us for the following questions that we will collect after the presentation from Italy. Now I ask to our staff if we can launch the video from the chairman of NGV Italy, and then we will deepen into the Italian landscape with Diego Gavagnin, and we will collect other questions. Please go home with the video.
Dear ladies, dear gentlemen, first, let me express my sincere apologies for not being in Bologna and not be able to join you live, as I am committed in St. Petersburg at St. Petersburg International Gas Forum. It's a very, very important forum where everything is about natural gas. And I will bring Italy over there and you too. I know that Bologna has become the capital of ecological transition these days, and you are enjoying conference, workshop, and exhibitions depending fundamental solution for the energy transition. Natural gas, biomethane in gases and liquid form, hydrogen, green gases, and sustainable solution for the future of transport. Today, I'm glad to introduce, in the capacity of chairwoman of Energy Italy, this workshop with distinguished guests and friends. My great friends, Hiro Hashimoto, president of NGV Japan. With Hiro, we did something that nobody believed it could happen. We did bring LNG transport to Japan. Thank you, Hiro. Ashu Shingal, Executive Director, India, I was very, very busy in India until a few years ago. It's a country I love, and I know that you're doing a great work and a great job in promoting natural gas and LNG. So good luck, India. Diego Gavagnin, Scientific Coordinator of Conference GNL. We could not find a better coordinator for this conference. Diego, you're always great. And moderated by Paolo Dermo, Secretary General of the World Energy Council, Italy, a young gentleman that is doing a great job in promoting clean fuels. Dear colleagues, dear friends, NGO Italy joined forces with Confrenza GNL in this workshop, as we believe that international cooperation and exchange of knowledge and expertise among countries is fundamental in order to accelerate the development of LNG, a bio-LNG infrastructure, and small-scale application. Liquefied natural gas and bio-LNG contribute to foster the decarbonization of road and maritime transport, and in parallel provide a competitive fuel for many countries, developed and developing ones. To this end, I'm happy to announce that NGV Italy has promoted, together with other national chapters of the NGVs, the institution of the World Gas Mobility Council that focuses on the improvement of international collaboration in the natural and green gases for sustainable transport. In recent weeks, we've seen how important natural gas is becoming for energy systems around the world, with increasing demand from developing countries where natural gas is spreading its application from electricity generation to other sectors and small-scale LNG uses, and international gas prices soaring up to 280% in Europe between January and September 21. The gradual phase-out of coal in the power sector and the need of cleaning highways and maritime routes from polluting oil products will add a new pressure in the next years. Thus, it's never been more urgent to join forces, discuss and collaborate at an international level between institutions, companies, and organizations for identifying proper solutions that can accompany economic growth and social prosperity while reducing extreme price volatility dynamics seen in the past weeks and months. Among others, LNG and small-scale LNG infrastructure are fundamental in order to diversify supplies and make markets more liquid at the world level. In addition, new mechanisms and partnerships have to be implemented to promote its immediate scale-up as a source of sustainable mobility. In this framework, we have promoted today a workshop with the aim to share initiatives and developments from different important countries that are advancing in the small-scale LNG chain. I really hope you all will find this workshop interesting, and we soon meet again with the World Gas Mobility Council and NGV Italy to continue this work. Thank you very much, and I really hope to see you soon, and let's stay together, because only with synergy and joining force we really can do something for the future generation and in the transition of decarbonization of this world. Thank you again.
So we have listened that this is the first, this discussion, today's discussion is a first step also for the World Mobility Gas Council that is to be established. So what we are doing today is going to be replaced, will be also renewed with other debates. And so we today have with us Diego Gavagnin, that is the scientific coordinator of Confrenza GNL, that will share with our colleagues from Japan and India the evolution of small-scale LNG in Italy, and in order to start with this dialogue, international dialogue. So please, Diego, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria Rosa, for your presentation. I am Diego Gavagnin, coordinator of the Conference GNL in Italian. which has been promoting the use of small-scale LNG in Italy with conferences and meetings since 2012. Now, for you, a very short photograph of the small-scale LNG in Italy. In addition to the World Energy Council, we collaborate with the REF consultancy company, which analyzes this market every 6 months. We have in Italy a 9,000 cubic meter coastal depot for the small-scale LNG market in Sardinia for the methanization of the island. A second deposit of 20,000 cubic meters will go into operation in the next few days in mainland Italy, in the north of the Adriatic Sea coast, in the port of Ravenna. Excluding Sardinia, all the small-scale LNG has arrived from abroad, Spain, France, and Northern Europe, with high procurement costs. Despite these higher costs, Italy is a leader in Europe and the second in the world, after China, in heavy land transport. We have over 120 filling stations and 4,000 trucks in circulation. We also have 35 industries away from the pipelines and 25 city networks powered by LNG. Also, we have one train that go very well, and 100 bus for city and regional route. But we are far behind in the maritime sector, with only one cruise ship and one ferry. We have only one tanker for the Ravenna plant. However, 3 other tankers are under construction. By 2025, we will have 3 more ferries and 4 large cruise ships and 1 tug. These are under construction or on order. In the maritime sector, we still have important industries throughout the chain, but they work for foreign ship owners, like Claudio Evangelisti, that is with us today. But this year we will have a total consumption of more than 200,000 tons of small-sized LNG. About 180 for land transport. The total forecast for 2025 is doubling to 400,000 tons. A strong development is having the production of bio-LNG started very recently for mixing with fossil LNG. 3 small liquefiers are in production for over 5,000 tons per year. Many others are under construction. we could have 50,000 tons of bio LNG in 3 or 4 years. Mixing for truck refueling has already begun. Right now, the Italian European energy sector is very worried about the price trend. The small-scale LNG sector is young and could have more problems due to price uncertainties. Another concern for the European initiatives for decarbonation, which at the moment do not seem to take into due account the either environmental qualities of LNG and especially bio-LNG. I give the word to the moderator now.
Okay, thank you, Diego. Thank you for this outlook on the evolution of small-scale LNG in Italy. We have also today, we are going to close the session, but we have today with us also the chairman of the scientific committee of the Confrenza Generale, Sergio Garriba, and Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Shingal, Mr. Garriba has a question or a comment on your presentation. So please ready to reply.
Well, should I speak in English? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I was listening at the conference, which was extremely interesting. What is emerging is the need for countries, and India, Japan, Italy. Italy can be major players, and they are major players. And what you think about, say, a role these three countries can have within the IMO in order, to harmonize the logistics. Because if we are following different patterns for the ships, it will be difficult, to move from the Mediterranean to Far East or from Far East, Southeast Asia to the Mediterranean. So there is some need of harmonizing, say, the solutions which are taken by our countries. So I think that within the IMO, we might have, say, a more pushy, or say, a more forceful role. What do you think about that? How can we do this?
Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Shingal, want to comment on this?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and you should put it as a kind of ISO specification. For our understanding, both for the land transportation and maritime transportation, Italy is doing a lot of new things. So you have lots of experience. So you should put it in the specification and make it as an ISO standard or some kind of standard so that everybody can refer to.
So we can join the forces into NGV Italy, but also within the network, but also in the international organization like IMO, like Sergio suggested. Please, Mr. Shingal.
Yeah, I think the challenges which were mentioned for promoting small-scale LNG is still in India also, they are there because the OEMs, the manufacturers of automobiles, they are not ready to switch over to LNG vehicles straight away. They have built a lot of diesel vehicles, and now they have also built a line of CNG vehicles in India. A lot of CNG vehicles are operating in India. To go to LNG vehicles, the challenge is again from electric vehicles also. So they are not ready to invest. Second is about the big transporters. They are not aggregators are not there with the transport agencies. Single point where we can make a business model of making small scale LNG work. So those are some challenges which are there, and also with respect to the cost of LNG, which is very much fluctuating. Once it comes to India, it is very comparable and cheaper as compared to diesel, but it is still a long way to go. Coming to IMO, we are also not very much, we have not done much to promote the LNG for ships, but it can be done in some of the terminals in the east coast of India, wherein we are working to do the bunkering of LNG can be used as a bunkering fuel. So those were my views on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a question from Diego Gavagnin from Italy. Please, Diego.
Is for Hashimoto in particular. What about the free carbon cargo with the payment of emission credits? I know in Japan we have received some gas cargo carbon free, and also one tug I know is with this in this method. So
Like cargoes that compensated emissions with credits, right, Diego? Mr. Hashimoto,
they start doing it, and Tokyo Gas started, and I think they're teaming up with Shell, Dutch Shell. We have a Shell Japan, but they are working with Dutch Shell, and they start promoting like carbon-free LNG in Japan, and so that they can offset the carbon to be used as a carbon credit.
thank you for confirming us this trend. Now we are closing this session that will be followed by another session focusing on a Mediterranean landscape and on Mediterranean collaboration on small scale LNG and the promotion of LNG for transport. I thank you again, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Shingal, for joining us today virtually and for your time with us. We will continue to work together within the network of NGV Italy, but also within the network of Conferenza GNL. We hope that together with Diego and also Maria Rosa Baroni, we will have the chance to foster this dialogue, international dialogue that is needed for advanced LNG uses.
Thank you.
Now I give the floor to Diego, that is the moderator of the next. Yes, an applause.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
to all.